Okay, I have here 3 of my favorite Myler bits. These are all level 3 bits, and I'm just going to go through a little bit the differences between the 3 of them and the similarities, and why I would use a certain one on a certain horse. First of all, these are all level 3 bits, which means they are designed to put the least amount of pressure on the tongue for a well-trained horse that is very responsive, that doesn't need a lot of control, or a horse with a very large tongue that needs a lot of tongue relief simply to be comfortable wearing a bit. I always use the Myler bits with the hooks. If you can see the hooks here and here, and at the bottom also, they do 3 things for the Myler bits. They lock the headstall and the reins in position, and by doing that, they enable you to get the most out of the Myler bit benefits. So with the headstall and reins locked into place, you can do the independent side movement. It will move only one side of the bit, the other side will just lay still. This makes for a very clear signal for the horse. It also enables the bit to release when the horse gives to the bit, responds to your signals. It brings the bit back to a neutral position. So you put pressure on the reins, the bit rotates forward like this. The horse responds, and those hooks, the headstall hooks, right the bit in the horse's mouth. So the horse gets an instant release of pressure when they respond. This helps, obviously, teach them to respond quicker. The third benefit of the hooks is you have these little holes here. You can put a curb strap or a curb chain on, and then you'll get curb pressure also. Some horses really, really like curb pressure. Some horses don't like curb pressure, but the curb strap will help the bit. It'll help keep the bit from over-rotating in the mouth, and it'll add a little curb pressure, which horses like. Now, I've seen people claiming that the hooks add leverage to the bit. They do not, because the headstall and rein loop are equal distance from the mouthpiece. There is no leverage. The ratio is 1:1, which means no leverage. There would have to be a longer shank compared to the purchase to create leverage. I've also heard people claim that the hooks turn this bit into a gag bit. They're not designed to do that, and under normal usage, they will not create a gag effect with the bit. However, if you keep pulling and you don't release, yeah, eventually the whole bit's going to slide forward in the horse's mouth. But that'll do with any bit, not just one with the Myler hooks. So, my personal opinion, if you're going to use a Myler bit, you might as well get the most out of their unique mouthpieces and use the hooks. So these are all, as I said, level 3 bits. And if you look at them, they're all fairly similar in shape. They all offer a generous port that allows for a good amount of tongue relief. But there's differences, and the reason for the differences is because not all horses are the same. Not all horses will respond to something in the same manner. This one is a solid mouthpiece bit. This is the 33. This was actually one of the first Mylers I ever bought, and I love it. This is a solid mouthpiece. It's mullen with a port. You can see the curve to allow room for the tongue, and then the port allows room for the tongue when you activate this bit. This is great for a horse that does not like a mouthpiece that moves and flexes. They like a bit that doesn't collapse. But not every horse likes a solid bit. Some horses, this is a solid bit. Some horses this would be too much for. Too heavy in the mouth, too rigid. They want a little flexibility. This is the 05. This offers about the same amount of tongue relief as the 33. But this bit flexes and collapses a little. There's no pinching, there's no nutcracker effect, but it will wrap the outside of the horse's mouth and kind of give a gentle, it's a gentle feeling. I've done it on my own hand, done it on my own arm. It's gentle, but a gentle wrap pressure. But one thing I really like about this bit, and I like to use this on a horse that is super duper responsive, is the solid 33. You can't be as subtle in your signals as you can with the 05. With the 05, because of the play in the mouthpiece, you can be super duper subtle with your rein signals. You can just flex your rein a little bit and it'll move the bit like this and the horse will respond. So I like this mouthpiece for a horse that I want to stay out of their mouth as much as possible, because I can do that little flex. There's a little bit of almost a pre-signal before the mouthpiece actually completely activates. And even if it does completely activate, it's not going to pinch, it's not going to hurt, but there's a definite difference between neutral position and activated. So that's what I like this bit for, is the subtlety. Or just for a horse that likes a more flexible mouthpiece. This is the 41 PB, which is ported barrel. This is a correctional bit. It's a ported bit which collapses. This one will collapse fully. So I like this bit because it offers a very clear signal to the horse. When the horse is relaxed, there is a generous amount of tongue relief, the same as any other level 3 bit. If you start to pull on the reins, the first thing that happens is these little edges here. The horse kind of feels those edges roll into the tongue. And then if the horse still does not respond, this mouthpiece will collapse like that, kind of like a double jointed snaffle. So this is great for horses that like to lean on the bit. A solid mouthpiece, draft type horses, horses that are bred for pulling and pushing into a breast collar. You give them a solid bit like this, and most of them will lean on it. Not because they're mean, not because they don't like their bit, but just because that's what they are bred for and their instincts tell them to do. This mouthpiece has the flexibility, kind of like a Waterford. It'll keep them from leaning on it. And if they do lean on it, they're going to feel points of pressure right here on the tongue. But if they're relaxed and they respond and they're soft in the bridle and in the bit, they're going to have all the tongue relief of a level 3. They're going to have a tremendous amount of tongue relief. And a lot of horses really like this bit. A lot of horses go super duper soft and calm in this bit. So it's also one of my favorites. I have 4 client horses right now